Hello, my name is Alice Fan, and my dissertation is on topic of computational neuroscience, research in cerebellum. Cerebellum, also known as little brain, is a major feature in hindbrain which plays an important role in motor control and related to some cognitive functions such as language and attention, as well as regulating pleasure and fear response. There is a research team named the APPS laboratory preceded a long-remaining animal experiment which recorded cerebellum responses during motor adaptation to visual distortion using a prism. It is basically a reaching task for a cat with a prism on and off. Then they recorded the time from start to reach until successfully reach. The team wanted to figure out how cerebellum activity changes when mistakes and interruption happen. We predict the plot of reaching time will be like this. When the prism is on, the reaching time will be longer, and after adaptation, the time will slightly reduce. And when the prism is off, the time will increase for a while, and after adaptation, it will go normal. The recording data is complex and multidimensional, so that the team required advanced and cutting-edge analysis. In this project, I helped them decompose the data to make it more easier for evaluation, and hopefully will make some contributions towards the scientific problem of how cerebellum changed during motor adaptation. In neuroscience, it is standard to represent neurodynamics in two-dimensional format, but in many studies and experiments, there exists a repeated measurement from the same subject over time. These cases always have one more dimensional representation, which we suppose we have repeated recordings over trials. In this experiment, the data is recorded in the format of channel times time times trials. Channels recorded the local field potential in different brain regions. We attached microelectrode sensors to different parts of brain, and each one is regarded as a channel. Every channel has unique responses when events happen. The recording data is the three-order tensor. Tensor is an organized multi-dimensional array of numerical values. The order of tensor, or we can say the rank of tensor, is the number of dimensions it has. In this case, it's 3. Each dimension of the tensor is large, which is hard to analyze, so that we decided to apply dimensionality reduction approach to make it low-dimensional. There are several existing matrix factorization approaches such as PCA, which we are all familiar with. PCA is used to decompose multivariate dataset into a set of orthogonal components that explain a maximum amount of the variance. It provides linear dimensionality reduction using singular value decomposition of the data to project it into lower dimensional space. However, PCA does not separate within trial from across-trial dynamics. It only provides trial averaging result. So we decided to use CP decomposition. CP tensor decomposition factorizes a tensor into the sum of outer product of vectors. For a three-order tensor, it finds 3 sets of vector matrix A, B, and C. And each set has 3 components, AR, BR, and CR, corresponding to 3 dimensions. In this case is channels, time, and trials. For this equation, AR and BR provides low-dimensional embeddings of within trial dynamics, and CR provides across-trial changes in dynamics. In order to solve AR, BR, and CR, we are going to use alternating least square approach. We all know that least square approach is a common used approach of optimization, which is achieved by minimizing the sum of squared error in each equation. Here is a representation of least square approach. Alternating least square is a two-step iterative approach of optimizing loss. Every iteration it fixes the first factor matrix and optimize the second using least square, and then fix the second and optimize the first, and repeat it until reaching convergence. Then after calculation using alternating least square, it comes the result of decomposing, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide. I have already finished decomposing and classifying data using CP decomposition approach and implemented in Python. Python has a broad community and set of comprehensive sets of libraries for data analysis. That's why I chose it. According to the data, there are 56 trials, 73 channels, and 5,765 times in total. These three plots respectively extract channels, trials, and time components from the decomposed tensor. X-axis is the components and y-axis is the weight. We can observe from the trial plot, at trial 22 it weighted most here, which means the cat started to wearing a prison, and until trial 38 the prison is off. The plot is a bit noisy because we do not have enough data, otherwise it will become more readable. What we can observe from the channel plot is that in all total components there are only 3 channels respond rapidly to the distortion, which means we may conclude that only 3 parts of the cerebellum are related to visual distortion and motor adaptation. For the time component plot, it is obvious that the most weighted time is almost when the events happen, like wearing a prison or taking off the prison. However, there are still some confusion about these results. For example, at the trial plot, after the prison is off, there are still some weighted points, like trial 39 or trial 47. Can we consider it as an error trial, or just there's still something we do not know in the brain? So the next task for me is to discuss the experimental results with the experiment team and ask for further data and optimize the solution. That's it. Thank you.